Oh, it feels like I'm sitting. I gotta move up more. Can you move up more?
Yeah.
All right.
I just have a lot happening here.
Oh man, how we doing? All right, man, wow. Ready?
I'm getting there.
All right. Cool. First things first. We got a couple. We've had like. It feels like at any moment this microphone is so loud it's gonna explode in my hands. Don't you feel it? There's been so many weddings in the past like 2 weeks, so we got to celebrate weddings. First of all, Shai and Dan, married. Ayo, exciting. Friday we had Jeremy and Leah get married. That was awesome. Yeah, what? Everyone's here. Yeah, it's amazing. Yesterday we had Olivia and Patrick get married. It's like everybody's getting married, so if you're single, just be careful of the water. It's crazy in here. So, man, it's just we can't stop it. We're doing our part, though, for repopulation. Yeah. It's a thing. We've talked about this. That's going to be our slogan.
Repopulating the
Yeah,
earth.
we make room for more babies. Cool. Anyway. That's good. Today, we're going to kind of talk together. We're basically in a series called Caught Up. Usher had a really good song, and so we thought, hey, let's just do a series about it. And what we talked about a little bit last week is there's essentially 5 relationships every human being has, or in some ways probably needs. There's your relationship with God. That's the most important thing about you. Even if you don't believe in God, what someone thinks when they think about God is the most important thing about them.
Yeah.
After that is your relationship with yourself. If you have a bad view of yourself, you're going to have a hard time making friends. You're going to have a hard time dating, for sure. If you bring that into your marriage, you're going to struggle, and it is what it is. The third one, we're actually going to talk about it next week. We're skipping one. It's like basically your relationship with authority. That could be like your parents, pastors, leaders, mentors, things like that. It's actually an extremely important relationship that I think we kind of gloss over a lot of times because everyone wants to we want to buck authority. The fourth one is your friends. That's what we're going to talk about today, friendship and dating. Dating would be the fifth one, your romance. Now, when you get married, the order switches a little bit. Like your spouse is not less important than your friends. That would be stupid, as they say. So don't do that. But anyway, today we're going to talk about friendship and what makes friendship so important, and why we need it, and we're going to talk a little bit about dating. So yeah, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, you're great.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Great.
So essentially, the thing we got to answer today is like. The reality is that we have, when it comes to dating in the church, we do have like, I would consider them like massive issues. We've had them since when I was growing up. It was like purity culture was like the thing. So it was like if you even look at a girl, it's like something bad could happen to you, her, and your entire family line. So be careful where your eyes go. And it's like, oh my gosh. And so like everything was based in fear. Parents were just trying to do their best, to be honest with you, and they were terrified of like STDs and babies. So
I think it really started in a good
It
place
did.
with good intentions, but I
Yeah.
think it definitely got skewed
yeah.
as the years went on.
Yeah. So essentially, like a book came out. If you don't know, I'll let you know. A book came out called "I Kiss Dating Goodbye," and then forever we stopped dating. It was just like we're not going to date anymore because can I marry this person? And so what we're doing in the church, and we've done, is we've essentially tried to ask like forever questions on date one, which is a really, really bad mantra for life. You shouldn't be answering like forever questions when you don't even know the person's favorite color. It's just a bad precedent to be setting.
Can
So
I marry him?
yeah,
Can I marry him?
marry this person? It's like you don't even know if he always looks like this. Like, what are we talking about? Like, anyway, so we do have to get there, but before we do that, we have to talk about friendships because, like, if you can't be friends with people, like if you have a heart, like you want to marry your best friend, but if you don't know how to be friends or if you don't understand why friendship is important, that becomes like a really difficult thing. And friendships actually the Bible says more about friendship in the Bible than it does dating, because it really says nothing about dating, but it says a lot about friendships. And I want to give you, right at the jump, like basically why friendship is necessary, and then there's going to be some things that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to be in Ecclesiastes for the most part. We're going to be in Ecclesiastes chapter 4. I even got my paper Bible today. That's when you know it's serious. Yeah. It's a great one, by the way. It's like a soft leather if you're looking for one. Now, the binding on this one's falling off. I got to get it, like, fixed. But anyway, is that off topic?
No.
Okay. Ecclesiastes 4, 7 through 12. It says, again, I saw something meaningless under the sun. Solomon was, like, really pessimistic in this letter. But he said, there was a man all alone. He had neither son nor brother. There was no end to his toil. Yet his eyes were not content with his wealth. For whom am I toiling, he asked, and why am I depriving myself of enjoyment? This, too, is meaningless, a miserable business. Then he goes on, and we've all heard these. This part of this is like in almost every wedding that's ever happened. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. That's the part where it's always marriage. It's like, oh, there's 2, and then the 3rd strand is God. Amen. Glory to God. But go ahead.
No, there's a line in here that it's a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but 2 can stand back to back and conquer.
Yeah.
And then it says 3 are even better.
I love that.
And I love those lines because the idea of like you just have one person who's like getting attacked and defeated, but if you can be back to back with somebody conquering what is around you, what a cool picture that is.
100%.
And then if you have even more, great.
Yes. Solomon opens this with kind of like the tragedy of isolation. He's like, there was a man all alone. Yeah. He had neither son nor brother. So right off the rip, you know this isn't necessarily about marriage. This is like, there's a guy who's all alone. And he even goes on to say that his eyes were not content with his wealth. It's like this, he could be speaking to us. He's like, this guy, what a tragedy. This guy's so isolated. He's got all the wealth, and he's not content. And there's something about this idea that, like, we think that if we just, like, put our, like, eyes to the ground and just grind out this existence, build wealth for the future, and our family will be content. And he's like, no, this dude, it's a tragedy of isolation. And what you're going to find in this is that friendship brings security. He talks about how they, like what Esther was just talking about, that if one falls down, the other's there to pick them up. One may be overpowered, but 2 can defend themselves. There's actually security in friendship. There's so much that happens in this life where you think if I just isolate myself, I'm going to be okay, but you actually need friends to help you defend things that are happening in your life. You need friends. Another thing you'll find through this is that good friends will help you mature. He says 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. There's areas in your life and in my life where, like, I need to grow up. And if I don't have good friends in my life, I'm going to have a hard time maturing because I don't see my blind spots. And it would be unfair if I always rely on a girlfriend or a spouse to be the one that's always pointing out my blind spots. If I'm not used to people speaking into my life and offering me correction, offering me ways I can get better, it's only going to be annoying if this person I'm romantically attracted to is the one bringing me correction. Now I think, like, she's got a problem. I don't have a problem. She's got a problem. But good friends will actually help you mature. Good friends bring clarity. Good friends will help you see things that you don't see. Good friends will help you basically see the forest for the trees. We need good friends. And then the last thing I will say about this is that good friends are necessary because they bring you longevity in life. Oh, he ends it by saying, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And part of me feels like so much in life can break down because of a lack of solid relationships, like solid friendships. And it seems elementary, it seems not useful, but I promise you, God honoring friendships will bring you longevity. They just will. I actually think you live longer when you have good friends.
Yeah, and biblical friendship also brings transformation. Like your friends aren't there to change you, but when you have really good friends around you, then your feelings don't become facts as often, or you don't stick to this narrative in your head and it cements into your head, and then you no longer see another person as a human being. You are just stuck on your narrative, and
Yeah.
good friends will say like, hey, I'm seeing this, or hey, there's tension, or hey, like, I notice you're off a little bit today. And then that way, like, you, right, there's
Yes.
the window and the mirror,
Yeah.
right, where like, where we can get so stuck in what we view, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain that part?
No, you keep go. Go.
Well,
Oh boy.
okay, so when you're looking out of the window, you have the perspective, but when we get stuck in our feelings and our narrative, we then just start looking in a mirror, and the only thing we can see is ourselves. And you need friends that are around you that say, hey, no, move over a bit, look out the window. These are people, these are
Yep.
human beings. Like, don't get so stuck in
Yeah.
where you are, and then forget that,
Yes.
like, there's more to see,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. That was great. You did a great job. So yeah, what's pretty cool about friendships is that these are like relationships with other people are some of they're the only relationships that we actually choose.
Yeah.
We choose these relationships. You don't choose your parents. You don't choose God. God is God. You didn't choose. You didn't even choose yourself. You were born into the body you were born with. But you actually have choices with friends.
You don't choose your siblings.
You don't choose your siblings.
Kids.
No, none of that is a
But
choice.
your friends.
Your friends are a choice. So you want to choose friends carefully, and you need friendships because friendships will help you with dating. I can promise you that. They'll even help you with your marriage, but we can get to that soon because it gets a little deeper than just like, oh yeah, like it's not like Michael W. Smith, friends are friends forever. If the Lord is the Lord of them, it's very nice and beautiful. But essentially what we need to do today is bring our relationships from artificial relationships to authentic relationships. That's the goal. Before we do that, we need to talk about, you wanted to recap shame a little bit because it's going to help us with our with the rest of our talk. So
It's true. We need friends more than just pursuing romance or whatever's happening. When shame enters the picture, our default response becomes hiding. So I do want to recap. Last week, you talked about that we've never been so connected yet disconnected, yet we're made to have community and to not be alone. So when God created Adam, it was the only time in the creation process when he didn't say, and it was good. He said, hey, man should not be alone, and created Eve. And when we fight the design of being connected, we fracture our souls. Then shame enters the picture, and as Brene Brown defines it, shame is intensely painful feeling or experience of let me say that over. Shame is the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love or belonging. So Adam and Eve encounter this shame, and they're driven into the shadows. The very garden that they were cultivating was the place that they hid. And so thus creates the great tension between God and man, between man and woman, and between us wanting to hide and to isolate, and God's design of connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so basically what happened in the garden is that our greatest desire, our greatest desire as humans is to know and to be known, ended up becoming our greatest fear.
Yeah.
And we subconsciously carry this fear of people seeing our real selves in almost every interaction. It's like we are experts at just like we know how to navigate a social interaction where people don't actually really know who I am or how I'm wired. They don't really know the things I'm hiding, and we're like masters at artificial like connection. We're very very good at it, and we basically need to face our fears of how people are viewing us. And the way I was explaining it to Esther is like we'll go to like Hershey Park, okay, and I'm like obsessed with roller coasters. All I want to do is ride roller coasters. I will never understand going to an amusement park and like riding other rides because it's just like, why would I ride this one when I can like feel like I'm gonna die for a second? Like I love that feeling. And so now my wife, she has this what I would say an irrational fear of falling. And like it's like roller coasters are safe, otherwise they wouldn't be a thing. And she just refuses. So every time we go to a park, I'm just like, Esther, you should try this roller coaster. And it's not even like a conversation. There's just like absolutely not. Like super stubborn, like, heels in the ground, unwilling to just try new things, And she did go on the family one this last time. That was cool. Like
I did. I
yeah.
went on the family one.
Yeah.
I also have a childhood story of falling, and so I really do not like the feeling of
Yeah.
falling. But
And
I think what
yes.
you are opposed
And
to
I say
is that then like the sense of adventure. I'm not even willing to like.
Yes.
Yay! Let's just try
Yes.
it. Yay.
And so I will say, I understand that there are people and we've experienced relationships that have caused us pain, harm. It's been a bad experience.
Yeah.
And there's been friendships with betrayal and backstabbing. And you've put yourself out there, you are vulnerable, and it was thrown back in your face. And now the idea of being vulnerable, you're just like, absolutely not. Heels on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm not, no one will ever know who I really am. I want you to know Esther's amazing in every single way. You cannot be stubborn like Esther on roller coasters when it comes to relationships. You have to take the step and become a really good friend to somebody and allow them to see who you really are, what really makes you tick. And vulnerability is really the only way to get into God-honoring relationships. If nobody knows you, you're not getting better. And you'll actually have a very hard time when it comes to dating.
Right, because it feels safer to just keep things on surface level and to not engage in conversation.
Yep.
But we do need to face our fears of authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
there's the shame dance.
yes.
You got to do that.
Yes. Well, I'm going to do that in a minute. You want me to do that now? No, I'll do it in a little bit because I want to go into. So essentially, like I talked about last week, we are more connected but disconnected than we've ever been. We celebrate lack of deep, meaningful relationships, and so you can put the one slide up. There's no animations to these slides. Someone told me we need more visual cues so that they can remember what I say. So there should be one in there. It's like it's got the orange lines on it. We're just gonna wait. It's called the Tunnel of Chaos. All right.
You know what's interesting in friendship? Before we get to the tunnel of chaos, you get to know somebody and things are surface, and then something inevitably happens where it requires, am I going to dive into a deeper conversation with this person, or are we going to just keep it and I'm just going to kind of like let go and just like let that happen? And I think a lot of times when people ask us a question, instead of seeing it as like an invitation for a meaningful conversation, they ask a question and we're offended. Why would you ask me that? Or why would you like...
Yep.
And so then we stay in these artificial relationships instead of having the meaningful conversation.
Yes. I have to get up because we don't have like a whiteboard. We need a whiteboard. This would be, okay, so we're gonna go back and forth between a couple slides for a little bit. So welcome to college, and here we are. Okay, so the Tunnel of Chaos. I didn't create this. I didn't come up with this. It's a real thing because authenticity, like an authentic relationship, requires chaos. Now, everybody wants authentic friendships. Everybody. Everybody wants to have a solid relationship with their spouse, with their coworkers, with their friends. But it is impossible to get the authenticity without absolute and utter chaos. It is just the facts of life. And like this is where the issue is. We all want this, but we all also want to avoid chaos. It's like we want the cake and we want to eat it too. And it's like we want things to line up perfectly, but you have to avoid chaos. So we'll live in artificial relationships because we are scared of the chaos. And then what ends up happening is like in artificial, steps. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh gosh, breaks his ankle. Okay, we are Adam and Eve to a T, because Adam and Eve, when they sinned, they covered themselves with like fig leaves. They were covering their shame. They were hiding and everything like that. And they're like, no one, not even Eve now will see who Adam really is. Adam will not see who Eve really is. Like, this is bad. I need to hide. I need to hunker down. Like, we got to hide from God. Like, we just get completely irrational. And like, this is where, when you live in artificial relationships, you can go to the one with all the circles on it. It's what we're calling, some call it the fear dance. I like to call it the shame dance, because our shame actually forces us into this interaction with other human beings. So essentially, like, if Esther and I are in an argument or a fight, or I do something that hurts Esther, so now I hurt her, and so what she wants connection. She wants to feel belonging. But when I hurt her, now she's not getting what she wants, and she actually fears that she's going to lose that connection, and so then she reacts out of her fear, and then her reaction now causes me to hurt, and then I fear, I react, and now our shame is causing us to go into this weird vortex of conflict that can be solved with some good conversation.
And sometimes, like, these can go on for years and years. Like, these fear dances, especially like if you're married or even with parents or with siblings, and you just continue in this cycle where it's like, well, now I'm hurt, and I want this, and now I'm like deeply scared that then you're gonna do this, and so then I react, and then it just keeps going and going.
Yes, and then you'll find, like, and if you like study like even your own family history, you will probably start to think like, oh my gosh, like we were in like a fear or shame dance for like decades. Like, we don't talk about anything. We all just kind of like, it's like walking on eggshells. And now you create new normals in your relationships, because it's like, well, I don't want to touch that button again, because I know if I touch that button, it's going to be like another like 2 weeks of weird things at home, or I'm not going to talk to my friends. And like every relationship you have doesn't even have to be like romantic. It's like, if you don't understand this, you will find yourself in a fear dance. So a friend will say something that drives you crazy, but you'll never say, that drives me crazy. You'll just avoid it, but it's actually you're hitting a deep-rooted fear that is causing you to respond a certain way. It's not authentic, and it's a problem.
I was researching this week, and there's something called emotional dishonesty. It's not being true or authentic about the emotion present for you when somebody asks, like, hey, how are you? Or how are things going, when they're intentionally asking. And then that creates an emotional distance, and then it erodes the trust. And maybe that person believes that then you're avoiding like a bigger conflict, or maybe it was just like a learned behavior, but you think you're keeping the peace, but actually, are you practicing emotional dishonesty?
Yes.
That was something that was like really evident for me.
All right, so go back to the other one. Okay, so we love artificial relationships. So Proverbs 18:24, it says that a man of many companions comes to ruin, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother. I'm really good at having many companions. I'm friends with everybody. Everybody's my friend. But it's like, my issue will be that I will work I shouldn't say I work hard, but I guess I will. I will work hard to avoid deep friendships, because deep friendships create chaos. And the only way to get to authenticity is, and you'll avoid it, I understand, but in the chaos, there's always tension. So there's a conflict, there's tension. There's confrontation in the chaos, and there's disorientation in chaos. Every relationship that's going to get authentic will always have, some people will say, like, oh, I've never argued with my spouse. That is like an odd way to, like, have a relationship. Disagreements will always create tension, confrontation, and disorientation. And when we say that, oh, I think I know what people mean, like if we give the benefit of the doubt, it's like, oh, we never scream at each other. Like, that's cool. Don't scream at each other. That's a weird reaction. Like, create a safe place where you can have your disagreement. But if you're never disagreeing, there's never chaos. And if there's never chaos, someone is either always getting their way or someone's not being honest about how they really feel. Because God didn't make us like the same. And so you will always have disagreements with friends. You will always have disagreements with your significant other, with your spouse. There will always be disagreements. You're bringing two people into one. So chaos is inevitable unless you try to avoid it. Like, you will always have tension, confrontation, disorientation. The beautiful thing is that within authentic relationships, you can get clarity and there can be life transformation inside of authentic relationships. This is how God has designed it. He designed us for relationships that transform our existence. And so there's issues that I'm dealing with, and there's issues that you are dealing with. And sometimes we are praying and asking God to take like X, Y, and Z away from me. And maybe the answer to the problems that you have in your life are strong friends. Friends are essential to your existence. It is truly the only way. And again, the scary thing is if you skip learning how to build authentic relationships, you are going to force your husband or your wife to be the first person that you practice the tunnel of chaos with, and it will be chaos. Because when you're living with somebody, you are forced into chaos. Don't get it twisted. Living alone and then living with somebody is a brand new world. I'm not saying move in with your friends. That's not what I'm saying. Don't get like a content house unless you can really make money, then do that. But anyway, does this make sense? Okay, cool. This is great. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so every single person in here wants life transformation, and the key at times to unlock life transformation is authentic friendship. It also says in Proverbs that as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens the other. And I was going to tell a story next week, and I probably will tell it again, because I double up stories now. It's what I do. So I'll give you a little story from my life, okay, where I was forced to go from artificial relationships to authentic relationships. When I was 20, I think I was, which is far too young, I should say. Maybe it's not far too young. But I proposed to my girlfriend at the time. It was beautiful. What a blissful life. Okay, I proposed this to a girl because I was in Bible school, and that's what you did in Bible school. You meet people, and you have no idea which way is up, and you're like, I think we should get married now. This is a great idea. Not. And so I proposed to the girl. Now, what I didn't know, because I was the king of artificial relationships, is that nobody in my life liked this girl. This is just facts. She's probably a great person.
Or just, the two of you together specifically.
This is why I'm glad I'm telling it here for the first time with you. This is good. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure
This is good
there's
because
plenty of people who really like her, but the two of you together
the two of us together was not good.
Healthy.
It was not good.
Yes.
It was not good. And so, it was bad. So now, not all of my friends, because they didn't want to be authentic with me, didn't tell me that. They just kind of stopped talking to me and didn't want to be around me when I was with her, okay? So they were saying a lot of things out loud, but I wasn't listening. And so I proposed to this girl, cool. Right after this, everything with my relationship with my dad, who, at that time, he's my dad, but he's also my friend. Everything about that relationship shifted on a dime. and not even in a bad way. At the time, I thought it was bad because I was like, this man, I just need him to celebrate me. And so he called me, and he's like, Josh, he's like, I need you to know, I broke up with my fiance. Like, I've done this. You do not have to go through with this. And he laid it all out. Like, I need you. And I was like, okay, cool. Thanks, Dad. Peace. And I didn't listen. And so then I think it was like probably every week. At the time, my parents lived 2.5 hours away. Every single week, my dad would drive out. He'd take me to dinner, and he would just talk to me. He'd be like, all right. And then finally we got to one point, and he's like, this is going to be the last time that I talk to you about this, and then you can do what you want. And he laid it out again. And then I met with my pastor at the time, who, again, was going to force me into chaos. 30 seconds. I sat down in his office. Literally within 30 seconds, he was like, you're out of your mind, and you need to stop this thing. I was like, okay, this is very clear. And then finally, the guy we were doing premarital counseling with was like, okay, you don't want to hurt this girl. He's like, but this is fun. This is great. He's like, you're not a bad person. She's not a bad person. You're just on 2 different stations, and it's time to turn off the TV. And I was like, it's a brilliant line. It's a brilliant line. He's writing it for me, okay? And so what I'm about to tell you, I'm not proud of. And so I was, it's bad. It's bad. I was at my friend's house. We were swimming, and I was like, she wanted to talk on the phone. I was like, well, I guess now is as good a time as any. So, yeah, I'm not proud of it. So I get out of the pool, and I was just like, this is what the people need. And so I went outside, and literally it was bad. I like had a towel on, and I was like, listen, you're not a bad person, and I'm not a bad person. We're just on 2 different stations, and it's time to turn off the TV. And that was it. And then after this, yeah, it's really funny. So it was my, you can let it settle. It's good.
We all learn and grow.
What?
So we all learn and grow.
Yeah. Good. First time I've told that in front of a group of people, so you're welcome, church. All that to say, don't break up the way I do with a fiance. It was a big deal. I didn't think it was a big deal because I was emotionally dead at that point. But my relationship with my dad, who is one of my closest friends, it brought me into deep clarity and into life transformation. All of my friends, I'm not even lying to you, every friend that was close to me, after it happened, it was like breath came back into those relationships. It was a very, very wild thing, which is why now I'm like, I love breakups. I think more people should be breaking up, to be honest with you, because breakups are great. But the only way to get to authenticity, even with my dad, was to go through absolute chaos. And if you avoid the chaos, I promise you, you are avoiding clarity and you are avoiding transformation. Now, if you're sitting here and you're like, man, I just don't know. Like, I feel like people kind of beat around the bush with me. I feel like they're not really being honest with me. Like, you have to invite the chaos into your relationships. Because, again, a man of many companions will come to ruin. But there's friends who stick closer than the brother. Now, in a lot of ways, it's like almost like a prophetic scripture about Jesus. Like, a man of many companions will come to the room, but Jesus is the friend that will stick closer than a brother. Yeah. But in so many ways, these prophecies work in like multiple ways. There is friends who can feel like they know you so much, they are closer than a sibling. And you have to be available and vulnerable enough to invite that in. So if no one ever kind of gives you a side eye while you're talking, be like, what are you talking? Like, find friends that will do that for you because it will bring you transformation. Does this make sense?
Yeah, I remember somebody telling us just in general, because we're in ministry and things like that, and they were like, always keep people around you who are unimpressed with you. And I thought that was really good because you don't want to surround yourself with people who are just enamored with you and think you're just so amazing. Keep people around you that you're like, oh, yeah, I saw you in 7th grade gym class. Like, those kind of people who are just not impressed with you and can just,
Yeah.
say it like it is.
Yes. You need people in your life that will be honest with you. And so again, as I said, if you don't do this while you are single, now you might not be single and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's okay. Time's not gone. You can still have good friends and you can do this. Like you can make this happen. But if you are single and you don't do this, I promise you, you will force the practice in your marriage, and it will feel like you'll actually think that the marriage is busted because you've invited chaos into something and you're not used to chaos. You need to get comfortable in chaos because that's the only way to actually bring authentic, transformative relationships, okay? And so my take is that we've grown so accustomed to artificial connection that we've actually delayed covenant relationships because the thought of unmasking our true selves is just far too painful. So again, that's my take. My take is that the age in which we enter a covenant marriage is increasing so much. I just believe that we are so accustomed to masking our true selves that we cannot fathom entering into a marriage where that's going to be forced to be uncovered. Yeah. And so we have to get good at bringing authenticity into our relationships. So before we go further, are there any questions? Cool. Because, what? Dead serious, yeah. Yeah. Think about it. What?
Great question.
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
How would you answer it?
Go ahead.
I would say, yeah. We're not asking any more questions.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, that's a great
What
question.
the heck? No.
That's a great question.
You can't control other people's responses to how you
Right.
choose to live your life. And so all you can do is do your best to create an environment where our authentic relationships can happen. If it's not reciprocated, that's not something you can necessarily control because you can't control. All I would say is keep inviting chaos and tension and be someone who pursues. So for Esther and I, it's like we have to pursue conflict, otherwise we will just withdraw and we won't invite the chaos. And so it's like be the person that pursues the conflict and keeps inviting authenticity into relationships. And not everybody's going to be an authentic friend.
Right, and I do think that there are some times where there's necessary endings, where that is going to be the healthiest thing for you is just you in general, not you specifically,
Yeah.
but there are times where if you do open up you open up the friendship for authentic relationship, and if said person is not going to be emotionally honest or even honest in general about how they are thinking or feeling, you can't force them to do
Yes.
that. And then also there can be necessary endings.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times, just with social media and stuff like that in general, we were talking in our marrieds group on Monday, and Amy Mackey was like, hey, sometimes actually we are supposed to outgrow friends or outgrow relationships, but we can't now because we keep them on social media. Mm-hmm. And so then we think that we're in relationship with all of these people when really do you need this guy you knew in third grade? Do you talk to him anymore? Or
Yep.
do you need this girl, who I don't know, in college that you weren't actually really friends with? Do you need to be keeping track of her?
Yes.
Probably not.
Yep.
And sometimes the best thing you can do is have a necessary ending.
Yes. No, it's awesome. Yeah. And then guys, when you hit when you start to hit your mid-30s into your mid-40s, life, it's like that new stage. It's almost like midlife. And in midlife, once you hit it, you will quickly realize that friends are hard to come by. You get busier, your family's growing, there's no time. and then your only friend becomes your spouse, and then that's actually not the greatest friend circle. Like, you don't want the dude you hang out with to also be the one you're sleeping with. It's just like not. It's just like you need like you need friends as well, and you will enter like crisis if you don't develop good friendships in midlife. I promise you, depression will go up, anxiety will go up. You'll have thoughts in your head that you've never had before, and friendships will help cure those things. You need good friends, people you can just like be yourself with. Anyway, okay, it's late, Esther, and I don't want to do a whole week on dating. That would be so boring. So, because it's like, yeah, this is quick. So, what are you doing?
Oh, I just had this thing I wanted to
Oh.
read, but it was on my phone.
All right, I'm gonna give. We doing all right still? All right. Even if you're married, I'm gonna help you with your dating.
Okay, let me just finish
Yeah.
friendship
Okay, yeah.
first. Because I love this. I saw this on Instagram the other day, and I was like, oh, I really should read this. It talked about the major cheat code in life. Be the one who reaches out. Text first, call first, plan first, initiate first. Most people wait to be chosen. Be the chooser. Connection requires initiative. Friendship requires effort. Love requires action. So stop waiting to be picked and start picking, because initiative is attractive.
Yes.
I thought that was so good.
It is good. Yeah.
So send the text and
Yes.
call and say, hey, let's get together.
Yes. Last thing I'll say about friendship: Jesus had friends. He picked 12 of them. 3 of them were his best friends. He had friends outside of that. Lazarus, Mary, Martha they were close friends. And Jesus was always open to chaos in his friendships. He had that one situation where he told everybody, unless you eat my flesh or drink my blood, you have no life in you. And it's like, everybody's like, this dude's out of his mind. And so it says that everybody left him. And he turns to his closest friends, and he invites chaos. And he's like, what about you guys? Are you going to leave me too? This is tension, confrontation, and the disciples are definitely disoriented. It's they're like, okay. And Peter's like, no, well, like, this is confusing. What you just said was wild, and all the money, Judas is like, all the money just left with all those people. But Peter's like, you are the Christ, the Messiah. You have the words of eternal life. Where else are we going to go? Like, they moved from artificial to authentic relationships. And Jesus would do this time and time again. So be like Jesus and invite authenticity into your relationships. And then, if you can do this is why I titled this like the benefits of friendship. I actually titled it Friends with Benefits because I just think that's funny. But Esther said we can't do that. So call it what you want, because there's benefits to friendship. It'll mature you. And so if you don't get this right, dating becomes difficult. And so, but I want to give you just my rules for dating. Now, again, you're going to say, where is this in Scripture? If you want to do the Scripture way of dating, text your parents after this and say, can you please get me some suitors because I want to get married? If you could set this up with their parents and arrange that for me, that would be fantastic, because that was all arranged marriages. And so if we want to go back to that, we can. If not, I suggest you take some notes if you're single. Okay, so here's my rules for dating. Okay, you can put that slide up. I think it's literally called the rules of dating. These are my rules. It's trademarked. Not that one. Yeah, that's a great line. Next one. There should be one. Okay, here. Oh, this is great. Okay. I like standing up. I like this. This is great. I'm having so much fun. I hope they are. Okay, here's my rules for dating. Again, you can do this with your spouse because fun dates are fun. Okay, even if you're married, go on dates. The scary thing is you stop dating after you get married. That's strange. So keep dating. Okay, if you are single, you need to know this. Coffee is not your wedding day. This is super important. Okay, if you think that a coffee date is gonna end up with like you making horrible mistakes, like at your apartment or in a car, the issue's not the coffee. Okay, you just keep it. Okay, asking somebody to coffee is a normal thing. So if you are single, ask more people to coffee. When you get on this coffee date, okay, it's not your wedding day. You do not need to know every aspect of what they want in a spouse at coffee, okay? Don't worry about it. How many kids do you want? It's a terrible question. Who cares? It'll change in a year.
Yeah.
Don't worry about kids. Don't worry about where they want to live. Like, become a friend to the person you're out to coffee with. Go on more coffee dates. If it's been a while since you've been on a coffee date with somebody of the opposite sex, go on the date. Send the text. Go on dates. It's not your wedding day. Okay, second one. This is important. Do not over-spiritualize conflict. This is super important. What you will, if you're not careful, you'll get into a dating relationship. Now you're on date 4 or 5, and we're like vibing. It's awesome. It's great. Conflict comes. And you know, okay, they say that guys will know within like, I think it's like half a second. And the guy who was talking about it, he's like, we can increase to 2 seconds. A guy knows within 2 seconds whether or not the person he's sitting across from is someone he could spend the rest of his life with. Don't over-spiritualize this. We're like, you know. And so what you'll do if you're not used to authenticity, you will gloss over clear red flags and just over-spiritualize it. It's just something we got to pray through. Yeah. Maybe we need to read the Bible together. Let's go to more prayer meetings together. Like, we just need to pray. We're going to end every date with prayer. We're just going to do that. Like, and so it's like, no, break up. Like, just break up. You're not married yet. Like, this is your out. If it's weird and if the fights are happening, break up. Like, stop staying together and over-spiritualizing conflict. It's a terrible way to live. You will find yourself overextended in dysfunctional relationships if you over-spiritualize conflict, which brings us to the second one. Don't be weird. Have fun. Have fun. Mini golf is fun, okay? Doing a Bible study through Romans as date night might not be fun, okay? I'm not saying that Romans is bad. Romans is great. But if you don't know how to have fun with your date, you are not going to have fun when you're married. Yeah. Don't be weird. Have fun. Does this make sense? This is great. Okay. Fourth one is define what is reality, okay? We are creating, this is so twisted. If you've been married for a long time, thank God you're not single, okay? Trust me. Like, Scott, Miriam, just thank God you don't have to do this today. Because, like, I talked to some friends, and I'm like, I was just talking to a friend last night, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, I would go insane if I had to do this. He's like, how should I text? He's asking my friend, and he's talking to two of us. We're both married, and he's like, in this whole thing, and it's just like, oh my God, this is a disaster. Just ask her out on a date. Like, what are we doing? But we've created new words. Now it's not relationships. We're in situationships. I'm like, define what is reality. Yeah. If you've gone on like a couple dates and like this is going well, it's your girlfriend. Okay? It's okay to say. If it's been like a month and you're still texting and talking, you're dating, and that's cool. Define the reality. Yeah. If you're looking at your life and you're with somebody and like you've lost friends, every time you get together, there's like little bickering. It's like those nothing fights. You're just bickering. You're like taking stabs at each other. It's just gross and dysfunctional, and nobody wants to be around you. And you have to, like, at this point, take yourself outside of your life for a minute, and you've noticed that you've lost friends, or like, oh, I haven't seen that person in a while. Like, it's dysfunctional. The relationship you're in is dysfunctional, and you just need to define it. At this point in my life, I need to step away from this thing. I need to break this off. More people should be breaking up, but we're not good at defining the reality. So define the relationship. Don't do situationships. That's ridiculous. It's a dumb way to live. It's your boyfriend or it's your girlfriend. Boom. Done. Awesome. And then break up if you need to, okay? So we're going to go on more coffee dates. These are just the rules. We're not gonna over-spiritualize conflict. We will not be weird. And then we're going to define the reality. And I think there's another thing we were talking about, but I don't remember what it was.
The triangular theory of love.
Man, it's already 11:11. Yeah.
Can we quick say this one last thing?
Yeah.
If you are
Go to the
thinking
triangle
of dating,
picture. Yeah.
thinking of dating. So, yes, the triangular theory of love. So you've got the emotional, you've got the physical, and you've got the commitment. The emotional being you're feeling connected and you're supported and you're understood. The physical, you get that. The commitment is like deciding to stay or calling it what it actually is. You're dating, you're engaged, you're married. So to have a healthy relationship with said person, all of those things need to be at the same level.
Yeah, they're growing together.
They're growing together into a pyramid, if you will. And so if you just have like the emotional and the physical, but you're not going to name it, that's super dysfunctional.
Yes.
If you just have the physical.
That's friends with benefits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just have the physical, that's dysfunctional. If you just have the commitment, like you're married, but you don't have like the emotional connection or the physical connection, that's also very dysfunctional.
Yes.
And so you want all of these things with like your spouse and even in dating to be growing at the same rate so that you can have a healthy relationship.
Yes.
And honestly, like we did this. We did
Yes.
this, and it's a breath, like a fresh air. Like people liked being around us as a couple. Like your parents were super excited.
Very excited.
My
Yes.
parents took a little bit of time getting
Her
on
parents
board,
did, but you know.
no. But like there's when two people are together and you can tell that it's a blessing and people are excited for your future. Gosh, it's amazing because then everybody's excited and then you can be excited and it's
Yes.
it's a good way to live life.
Yeah. Awesome. Are there any questions? Mitchell.
Whatever happened to the girl?
Oh man, that's crazy. She got married. Yeah. So
Is it? Hello?
yeah.
Test.
But you know what was interesting? I
Yeah.
don't know if you can say this part, but
Well, you're going to. Go ahead.
I know.
Yeah.
No, something that your dad said was like, you can't look me in the eyes and tell me
that was
that
wild.
you love her.
Yeah.
And that is a big thing when you can't look into somebody's like eyes and be like, yeah, I love this person. That is a problem.
Yeah.
And it also, like your dad said, like if you don't know how to be alone,
Yes.
like you do not know what's going to happen in life. Your spouse might get sick. Your spouse might pass away, or you
Life
may be
just
going
changes.
through
Yeah.
through financial stuff. You have kids or you don't have kids. Like you do not know what life is going to bring you. And if you do not know how to live alone and independent as a resilient adult, then and having these relationships, having your relationship with God, having a good relationship with yourself, having a good relationship with authority, and having friends that surround you, you're setting yourself up for success if you have those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? This is fun. We never do this, so this is cool. Yeah. Yeah. Brian, oh my gosh. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I promise you I want to add 20 more minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Theoretically, let's say Josh and Esther, you're back a bunch of years in your relationship and your triangle's all messed up,
Yeah.
or it's not there at all. What do you do to resolve that and recover the relationship where you still can have some type of balance or some of those aspects
Yep.
of the triangle? Let's say there's no triangle at this stage.
Yeah. So I would I'm a huge especially if you're married, I'm a huge fan of counseling and therapy. I think that you need
100%.
Yeah, like a car needs an oil change. For maintenance, there's regular maintenance that you do on vehicles. Like when you're living in, I just compared marriage to a car, but that's okay. Your marriage needs tune-ups, and it needs help, and it needs someone who can ask really good questions to get two people to see life in a new way. So one, I think counseling is really important because you don't know the questions you're supposed to be asking to get answered anyway. So one, counseling. If I'm dating and it's all jacked up, boundaries are huge. You need to have good boundaries. And I'm not like talking like, you just need good boundaries. That might be an oversimplification of the answer, but some stuff can't be answered. Like I can't answer if if it's all non-existent. Then especially if there's a marriage, it definitely needs counseling. Yeah.
I remember too when we
And
were
Jesus.
dating, I remember we had this huge argument and you drove all the way from Utica. You drove 2.5 hours to have a face-to-face conversation with me. And we resolved the conflict, and then you left and drove back home.
Yeah.
And how, like, just having that then face-to-face conversation, that you would, I
Yeah.
still remember that you drove all the way,
Yeah.
all the way,
Yeah.
the 2.5 hours to have the conversation and then leave. And
Yeah.
there's something really beautiful about like face-to-face interaction.
Yes.
Because a lot of things can get misconstrued over text
Yep.
or even phone call, and you're just like,
Yes.
well, forget it, and you're,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers.
And then there's like, yeah. Anyway, I don't know if that answers your question. Hopefully, it somewhat did. Oh, boy, open it up to questions, and I feel like I'm not answering them, but that's fine. It's fun.
No,
Yeah,
I think we're good.
I can hear you, but
Hello, everyone. I'm new here.
hey,
You touch base on the living life of our relationships, but when someone passes away, there's a lot of grief. And my question is, how do you continue that tunnel of chaos when someone passes away? And how do you share that with people that are around you that you love, like your children?
I don't even know if I'm that. For me, that's like that's a. I think grief and loss is one of the. I'm going to make a generalized statement, but I feel like we are in like my evangelical world. It's like we're almost scared of grief and loss because of how painful it is, and we want to avoid pain. And I think that feeling grief and loss is incredibly important. And I think when you are going through it, that creates chaos. And I think how you function in a home environment in the midst of that can actually build authenticity. And so this is like, that's why I think it's important to cry in front of kids, because they need to know that it's actually okay to feel pain, and it is sad right now. This is painful right now, but we need to allow ourselves the space to actually feel this pain. If in the home you try to pretend like grief and loss doesn't exist and everything is okay, we're actually teaching our kids to sweep hard things under the rug, and it actually perpetuates artificial relationships, because now we're not inviting like transformation and clarity in. But you want to create a home environment where it's like, no, we are like, I'm angry because that's a part of grief, and it's okay. It's like, and then the conversations change. How do we process anger together in this environment? And yeah, so I hope that's an okay answer, but it's really hard, I would say.
Yeah.
It's a hard situation. So,
I keep thinking of this story that I heard about. Just track with me for a second. It's about a teapot, and if you hit the teapot with a hammer, it shatters, right? And so then you're just left with the pieces, and how hard that is. But then it can be. Is it like
There's
a
a
Japanese,
Japanese-
yeah,
yeah.
thing where then they fuse it with gold and it becomes something new.
yeah.
And so I think with loss and with grief, it's not even possible to just pick up the pieces and feel like we're holding something again. But I think that with the Holy Spirit and with even like professionals and friends and your family, you create something new that can be used again.
Yeah.
I don't know. What?
Kintsugi?
Yeah, Kintsugi.
Kintsugi, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? This is fun. We should do this every week. Cool.
Let's pray.
Yeah. You want to go? Go ahead.
Oh,
We can pray. This is how we're gonna end.
okay.
Cool.
God, thank you so much that you have designed us to be in community and be in relationship. And that we're not even just supposed to just have these surface relationships, but God, you call us to authentic relationships with other people and with you. God, I ask for each person in this room, God, that you would give them wisdom, that you would give them discernment, that you would give them encouragement as they approach relationships and friendships and romantic relationships, even just relationships with their parents and their families and their coworkers and their friends. God, would we be surrounded by people who are unimpressed with us, but also willing to speak wisdom into our lives. God, thank you so much for who you are and for who you've created us to be. In Jesus' name.
Amen. If you need prayer for anything, we'll have people available to pray with you. Yeah, we're excited about next week. Don't forget, there's more bags in the back if you want to go shopping for our Roots and Recipes Market. That'd be amazing. If not, definitely do that. But we'll see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Oh, there's also cake in the back. There's a birthday today, so we brought cake.